my foot. Look, it's not the most popular, but it's still my favorite because my mom ended up waiting in line to get it.
Okay.
$65, and then it went up to $100 for a sneaker. And now they're $225. But Skip, you look at what they sold. They was hoping to sell 100,000 pair the first year. They sold 450,000 the first month. At the time when Jordan, Skip, Adidas and Cons dominated the market in the shoe market, in the basketball market.
Absolutely.
Because Dr. J wore the Cons, and so did Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had the weapons.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big time, Isaiah Thomas, all of the big time, they had Converse.
They did.
When he came out with that shoe, it was like the Great Migration. Everybody wanted Nike. And he changed it, Skip. You're right. I believe he's most known for the shoe because the shoe, everybody wasn't playing basketball like they do now, but they wanted that shoe. And if you got that shoe, you were it. Couldn't no one tell you anything. So I believe the reason why he's had permanence, longevity, sustainability is because of that shoe, Skip. Skip, the man hadn't played basketball in 20 damn years. And he still has the #1 shoe. Skip, you remember when athletes retired, they might have a shoe, but when they retired, ain't nobody making no more shoes for them. They still make Jordan. It's still the #1 shoe, and the man hadn't played basketball in 20-something years, Skip.
How do you explain that?
You can't. It's him. And nobody is ever gonna, I don't believe anybody can surpass what he's done with the shoe. You just can't, Skip. He was first. And like you said, they retro. It's not like they're coming out with new Jordan. They're just retroing the old ones. Skip, it's never. I don't believe a North American athlete. Now you might say Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi. Some of those soccer guys rival him in popularity.
Yeah.
But I don't believe you'll find another North American athlete that will eclipse, surpass, or come close to what Michael Jordan was or is.
Thank you. So my history with Jordans, I wear them every day on the show, but I'm old enough to remember when there was no choice but Converse All-Stars.
Chuck Taylors.
That's all you had.
But you were clean.
When I was
you
in
get
high
some
school.
crease jeans, a white, the high top or the lows, but they came in different colors, Skip. You had the white.
But I'm talking about plain.
Yeah, plain
That's
white.
all you had was you had the white ones or you had the black ones. And that was all you didn't have the red ones or the green ones. Now you got those. Okay. And then all of a sudden, we graduated into Adidas Superstars. And they're low cut, and I had several pair of those because it was the hottest thing, the newest thing on the market.
Kareem wore top 10 Adidas. He was the Adidas guy.
All right. And then all of a sudden, the ones hit in '84, and it took off. But when I actually tried to play basketball in the ones, which I'm wearing as we speak, they just tore my feet to pieces.
I don't know how
he tried to bring them back at one point and play in them. And his feet are all bleeding. He tried to wear them at the Garden when he, in his last, what he thought was going to be his last appearance in the Garden in '98.
Yes.
Okay, and they just ripped his feet. They're actually not made to play basketball in. I don't even get it.
Right.
But they're made to walk around in because they look good.
Right.
And I've tried to play in several. Some of them work and some of them don't. They're not really made to play basketball in, though I'm sure a lot of kids have.
And then Skip, what they found out they started doing, they started out making shoes especially for Michael Jordan. The shoe that was for Michael Jordan to play in wasn't the shoe that they sold in the store. So he had orthotics and he had special, he had special contraptions because he was going to be playing. And now, Skip, most of the time, they don't play basketball in Jordans. They walk around in Jordans. That's an attire. That's for you to go out to a nice event or you go to a basketball game or Skip, you go to a function. People are really not buying Air Jordans to play in them.
They're not. So I do want to compliment LeBron James once again on all the work he's done off the court. Social, racial, justice, commentary, risking his endorsements to take stands that might not be quite up there with Ali or Bill Russell because he didn't have to endure the racism those two had to do as they were breaking through. But still, it took guts, it took courage, it took wisdom. When he speaks, I listen. And Michael just chose, he was almost adamant about it. I don't do that. I'm just an athlete. I'm a really great athlete. I think I'm the greatest ever. But I don't have any interest in speaking about those issues. And there was the classic quote, and I'm not sure whether he actually said it or not, that Republicans...
He might have said it, Skip, but it might have been tongue-in-cheek.
I think it was on a bus, back and forth, as you know, like locker room repartee.
Yes.
Hey, Republicans buy sneakers too.
Right.
Okay. So in the biggest picture, he chose not to take that path, but it hasn't derailed him.
No.
It hasn't wrecked him.
But over the last 10 years, Skip, you see he just made a $10 million donation to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
He just did.
He's given $10 million to other charities.
It's a very good point.
And so I think the thing is, I'm a firm believer, Skip, it's never too late to do the right thing. And I know a lot of people are like, well, he could have done this so much. And they find, well, it's just tax write-off. Well, you're not giving anything. You can get a tax write-off, too, if you donate some money. So stop trying to criticize someone for doing the right thing, because he could have done nothing, but he chose to do something. It might not be to the magnitude of what you like, but at some point in time, you just got to say, you know what? Kudos. Thank you, Michael. And because we've seen him do this over the last several years, give sums of money to worthy charities and try to make it better for a lot of different people. So, but Skip, we know the acrobatics and the tongue hanging out and the flying through the air. It's the shoe money. It's got to be the shoe. It's got to be the shoe, Skip.
Would you agree with me? Because you've said you've walked into rooms with him, and it almost feels like he levitates in the room. I'm talking about in a suit, not in a basketball uniform.
Skip, ask anybody that's ever been around him for the first time. Ask Shaq. Ask anybody that's ever been around Michael Jordan. I'm talking about the biggest. And Skip, I've been around some, I've met Oprah, I've met Denzel, met Samuel Jackson. I've met some big-time entertainers. Hove, Drake. This man here. Like I said, I don't even feel comfortable talking about it, because I can imagine in biblical times what it was to see the man walk that could walk on water. I can just imagine. I'm not saying he's that, and I don't want to be blasphemous or sacrilegious. But Skip, it does seem like this man is levitating. He doesn't seem real.
He is the closest thing to superhuman I've ever encountered in human life. He has a quality about him that was so rare that I felt like I'd never been in anybody's force field like that before.
Right.
And that force field transferred to the basketball court, to where just the way Tiger dominated golf, where people were afraid of him. His competitors cowered when they looked up on the leaderboard and saw the red number start going up for Tiger Woods. Same for this man. Especially in the second three-peat, it got to the point when he stepped on the floor, they just felt defeated. Because this man can levitate on the basketball court. He will do things that no one's ever done before. And I told you in that year I had of covering the Bulls in '98, the Last Dance season, every night I went to the United Center when they played a home game, the house that Michael built, he would do one thing a night where I'd say, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's just who he was. Cold-blooded basketball assassin of the highest order. And then he walks it off by stealing the ball from Karl Malone in a Game 6 that Scotty was both sick and injured in. And he scored more than half of their points that night at Utah in Game 6. And remember,
45 or 88 or something?
And no, it was less than 88, I think. But he had 45. And Game 7 was scheduled for Utah. So they were going to have to turn right around in 2 nights and play a Game 7, maybe without Scottie Pippen at all. And he said, no, I got this. And he dribbles the ball up the floor, and he gets away with a little push-off, which was more legal then than it might be now.
Let me ask you this, Skip. You're old enough to remember the Beatles, and you say that's your favorite group.
I know the Rolling Stones are right there, but go ahead. I'll give you the Beatles.
I guess Michael Jackson in his prime, when he toured, and people would faint just to see him or his mere presence, or the Beatles.
I also got to see Michael Jackson in concert, but go ahead. And I saw Prince 3 times in concert, but go ahead.
I guess Michael has to be that if you saw Michael Jackson in his prime,
I did.
I guess that's what you felt, or you saw the Beatles when they were touring, and now for you, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I wasn't old enough to actually see the Beatles in concert, but I've seen I saw them on Ed Sullivan that night when they broke the record.
I guess that's something that's comparable.
It is.
When you see Michael Jordan.
I would agree. I'll give you Michael Jackson because at his apex, at his epitome, Thriller, he transcended life.
People would faint just in his mere presence.
That is correct. That's the best comparison that you've made. He's right there in that realm.
Right.
And
was Tyson on the arc?
No, not to me. Just on sheer intimidation and force.
Because Hov had the song, Mike Jackson, Mike Jordan, Mike Tyson.
No, he did.
You know what I'm saying? So
just the phenomenon that was Tyson when you couldn't even get to the middle of the ring before he knocked you out.
Right.
Hitting that apex when he knocked out Michael Spinks.
Yeah. In 90 seconds, 91 seconds.
Yeah. But then he couldn't sustain.
Right.
And it's almost Shaq-like where he didn't keep himself in good enough shape. He just didn't, he couldn't continue, but Michael continued. And again, I've never seen anything like him.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like him.
You know what? I don't think we will either. So happy birthday, Michael Jordan, and congratulations. You're still hot.
He still is. He's going to always be hot. As long as they make those shoes.
Hope it is a fantastic celebratory weekend, MJ. Wonder if he is out in Salt Lake City, guys, because that's where all the biggest NBA stars are right now for All-Star Weekend. Is it time for some big changes to the way those festivities unfold, though? Got to get your take on that. Plus, KD, is he getting a little too confident before he ever even plays a game for the Phoenix Suns? Let's debate next on Undisputed.